For today's episode of In the Kitchen, we're going to be making spicy black bean quesadillas. There are very few ingredients needed for this recipe. All what you're going to need is some black beans, some peppers, and some corn, along with your tortilla, and as many different combinations of cheese as you can find. In terms of seasonings, you're either going to need red pepper powder for a spicier quesadilla, or Southwest seasoning. In terms of chopping the peppers, you want to chop them into about the size of your corn. But if you have roasted red peppers in a jar, you can use those too. Make sure you drain and rinse your beans. Now it's time to cook our veggies. Place your pan on the stove on medium-high heat and drizzle with olive oil. Once the pan is hot, you can add in your peppers, corn, and beans. Season with your red pepper powder or your Southwest seasoning. Add in your salt and pepper and then let it sit for about 3 to 4 minutes, stirring occasionally. Take your quesadilla filling out of the pan and pour it into a separate bowl. Return the pan back to the stove in order for us to start on our quesadillas. You will need to re-oil the pan and then we can put our tortilla on. Add some cheese onto half of the tortilla. If you really like spicy, I would recommend adding some spicy jack cheese to your cheese mixture. The next layer will be your quesadilla filling. Depending on how many tortillas you have, you want to make sure that you don't add too much or too little to your first quesadilla. The last layer, before we can fold it over, is some more cheese. You want to make sure that the cheese can melt around both the tortillas and the filling. Boy, do I like cheese. Now it's time to fold the quesadilla over and let it sit for about 1 to 2 minutes on each side. A good indicator that it needs to be flipped is when you see that the cheese has melted and started oozing out the sides. Repeat this process until you have no tortillas remaining. Now comes time to plate and serve. Feel free to include some salsa, refried beans, or sour cream with your quesadillas. I hope you enjoyed this episode of In the Kitchen. Stay tuned for next time where I'll show you how to cook a brand new recipe. For Flyer News, this has been Tyler Garofalo. Safe cooking, Flyers.